pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Paul.
John?
Right here.
Wayne?
Here.
Janice?
Here.
Myself here. Bruce?
Here.
He's not here. And Bill?
Okay. We have the board minutes for, or excuse me, the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda for April 3rd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Board minutes of the 31st that you have in with you.
I move. Second. Aye.
Yeah, I just got a frog in my throat, so I apologize. So the amphitheater, we, full bore here, trying to get thing ready to go. So a number of things have happened. We and myself, the mayor, Shauna, and Meredith, the facility events supervisor that runs it out there. The four of us traveled last week down to Kansas City to meet with New West, the promotion. And the contract is up at the end of this year, his contract with the Ledge. So we went down to do some contract negotiations and start the ball moving. Chris is the gentleman, owns the company. He's got some health issues that doesn't allow him to travel at this point. So, and we wanted to get this going before the season started. So, we had some good meetings with him down there, and really comfortable with moving forward here. So we're going to be working, staff-wise, we'll be working over the next month or so, tightening that up. And the one thing, because it's bonding money, it has to go back through the state legislature or through the state. So we got to come agree to it, then it's got to go down there for their approval. And so that's why we're starting it earlier than later. But we're trying to work out some minor details, because when we went into this venture, we didn't know how to run an amphitheater, how that worked. So we've learned a whole lot in 3 years, 2 full seasons, but 3 years of working out there and taking those lessons learned and trying to make it a better situation for both sides. So that's the main intent on that. So Chris did say that they are targeting about between 15 and 18 concerts this year. I think they're unofficially up to 15 or 16 at this point already. Some have not been able to be announced yet, but it's a big step over last year, 11. So, and the year before was 11. So this will be a bigger year. They would like to see to get to about 25 to maybe 30 within 2 years. But they got to wait, and they're playing the market out. They got to understand how the market will be able to. This market be able to handle that many concerts out there. Is there enough money to go around to make sure that you can have a full slate, something like that?
Is he the one working in Mankato too, or is that a different company?
No, that's the same. It's Mammoth Productions is the parent company.
That would be really easy to coordinate then if you have the same company doing both.
That's what they tried last year, so they do back-to-backs. And you'll see that if you would look up their schedule and ours, you'll see that an artist will play down there tonight.
You had mentioned that at the last meeting,
Right.
so I was just kind of curious.
Yep, yeah. I don't know how many are. I don't pay attention to Mankato's, but so yeah, A number of them have been announced already. It's a good variety. A couple others are going to be announced. I think gives us a full rounded slate of different genres and types of entertainment. So pretty excited about that. The only thing that we've got really going on this year out there and New West is they put money away every year, a percentage of the ticket sales for capital improvements out there. And so he's going to use all of his money this year and throw in extra to do some major improvements out there. And they're twofold. One is to expand the box seating area. So there's those boxes that are up on top there that have 4 or 6 chairs in it. They're adding, I think, 10 or 12 more boxes. So that gives them the ability to sell more higher price tickets and ticket packages. And then he's also paying to build a covered pavilion at the very top of it. So if any of you were out there, you would have noticed last year they put up a 10 by 10 tent and serve alcohol out of it. This will actually be a wooden structure that will mimic the rest of the buildings out there. There'll be metal on the backside facing the gates. Otherwise, the other 3 sides will be open with a slanted roof, just like our other roofs out there. So it won't be a fully enclosed one, just a back wall. So that construction's going to start next week out there. So those are 2 big improvements that we're going to be doing out there this year. Other than that, like I said, we got a full slate. There's a lot of back-to-back concerts this year, so that pushes the staff really hard. When you're working 12, 14, 16-hour days, go home, do it all over again. So it's, but we're going to see how that all works out this year. We've got some ideas of trying to give relief and find backup. So other than that, the only other thing I would tell you about that, and I can include it right now, just mark your calendar. May 15th is the State of the City. So if you have been out there the previous years, it's on the stage. So that's May 15th. And yeah, I'll come back to that later, the other one. So that's really all I have on the AMP at this point. So somebody's got some questions for me.
Okay, moving on.
So Jeannie is not able to join us tonight, so I'm sure she'll be with us in June when we meet, and she'll have a full report. I know she's going to have flowers planted at the ledge, something out there for the State of the Cities. It won't, it's, I don't know what you, kind of in between flowers before you put the real ones in. It's just something to throw color out there for the spring, something like that, so. Correct. Last, yeah. So I'm excited to see what the group and she has in store for the city this year. I think it's going to be big, great things, so.
Okay, park updates?
The only thing I want, there's a couple things here to give you. As far as actually physical park improvements, I have nothing on the schedule this year. We do have the painting of the Boy Scout building that was supposed to have been done in the fall because of weather, didn't get done, so that'll be done in the spring. And they're gonna put in a couple of new doors down there, so that's more cosmetic, but it'll be nice to have that finished off this year. The other thing I was going to let you know is a couple things. And I've got some information tonight, and I'm just not going to share it. There's a group out there for mountain biking, and I don't know if anybody's heard about this, but they're working to try to raise money for expanding the mountain bike trails in Quarry Park. And I just got it this morning. I reached out to the park director for Stearns County, Ben Anderson. He didn't reply back today. I wasn't expecting him to come tonight, but I'm asking him to see if he can come to our June meeting and just give us an update on what this is. Also, just give us an update on what they're looking at for Quarry Park as their capital plans down the road. I thought it would be good to share. See if you could share that, and if there's any other things that he would share with what's happening in the other parks within Stearns County. So, knowing Ben, he would do it in a heartbeat. It's just maybe timing might not work out, so I'm gonna leave that and let him explain any of those details later, but I look forward to that. I hope he can make it, in June. The other thing, it's not really a park update, but it's an opportunity for me to talk to you folks. So the city of St. Joe and the city of Waite Park went together to bid for a conference, and we were awarded that last year. And it's called the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. So we are going to hold it. It's July 24th through the 26th. It's going to be held at the Park Event Center. The Waite Park and St. Joe are the sponsors of that. So the reason I'm letting you know is we're charged with feeding the masses on Wednesday night and then doing some sort of entertainment. So Chris Fritz is working hard to try to find a band concert for that night. We don't have a name yet. What the plan is that we will take 150 people to someplace to feed them and then bring them back to the ledge for a concert. And that would be all comped by the promoter. So that's very nice of him to do all that. The next day is obviously normal conference stuff. There's meetings and keynote speakers. In the afternoon, though, each sponsor is charged with lining up tours to take the attendees on. So it gives you a chance to show off your community. So if it was just Waite Park, we would have 2 or 3 different tours to go to. Since it's St. Joe in Waite Park, we're going to split that. And we've decided, because of the distance and the traveling, which isn't great, but we're going to do one a bus tour from here to St. Joe. They're going to go over there and they can talk about their economic development and their stuff downtown, walking tour, which I think is pretty neat. Here, we wavered back and forth with a number of different ideas, and we've landed on that Martin Marietta is agreed to let us bring a bunch of people out there and do a tour of their whole quarry system, which is very nice. And I don't know if anybody's ever been able to do that through Spostog. It's coming up this year again, so just mark your calendars, because this year they're doing it again every 2 years. So we're going to do that. We wavered with something to do with Quarry Park and River's Edge Park. And we were going to line up River's Edge more for all the activities. You can come down here, you can ride your boat, you can bring your disc, you can play disc golf, you can play pickleball, you can work out in the fitness court, you can go down the fitness trail. And then as we got closer and thought more and more about that, the logistics of all that is probably not easy to deal with. It's a big park. So we're going to do that as a tour on your own. We'll give them all the information, in their brochure and say, if you want to go do this, it's 2 blocks away. You can bring your own bike. If you got your own pickleball paddles, you can go down there and play. You can do all this stuff. So we've chose to went that way, and then we'll also do a tour on your own as Quarry Park, and we'll give them all that information. So it's just too hard to try to figure out how to do a tour of River's Edge Park. It'd be like dropping a bunch of people off and they all scatter, and it's just, so, and especially if it's really warm that day and you got all those kids down there, so we'll just let them do their own thing. But it's an opportunity for the city, for both cities to show off what we have. obviously the ledge will get shown off on the first night with, and then we'll do the parks and our quarries is the next day, so. Looking forward to that, so there's some good publicity there and putting our name out there, so.
Okay, moving on to the roof.
Just let you know, the contract was done, we got that done. We've been working on getting their pad ready for them, for their trailer, for their little concession trailer out there. And other than that, that's about where we sit at this point, but, they should be good to go by the time the ball season starts up, so, yeah.
What other business do we have?
I believe, Claire, did you like to speak to the board? If you want to take the microphone and then let us know your name, we'd appreciate
You'd
that.
probably hear me without it, though.
Well, for the TV and the recording, that's why we need
Okay.
it.
My name's Claire Garcia. I'm a neighbor to this community, to this building. I live in the apartments, Parkberry Villa Apartments. And I moved back to Minnesota in '99. My mother had been very, very ill, but I'm not from this part of Minnesota. I grew up closer to North Dakota and Canada. So my apartment overlooks the city park. And through the years, there's been a lot of different groups out there. There's been a lot of different changes to the park. But there would be picnics out there. I'm a retired VA employee. One year we had our VA picnic out there. And there's some faith-based groups that have met out there from time to time. Polka masses, hot air balloon launch, tethered, and a variety of different things. And then at one point, they fenced off the apartments, the apartment that I lived in, with snow fencing. And there was a great big festival. And again, I'm not from here, so I really didn't know what was going on. So that happened a number of years. Well, that festival was Spastag. And this is going to be the 60th year, I understand. I Googled it.
Oh,
So
okay.
I could be wrong, but I live in a building that has, I think, 55 units in a 3-building complex, and there's lots of children. And because we don't get water bills, we don't know what the festival is all about. Is there any way to get the information about the Waite Park Family Fun Fest / Spastag to people who live in apartments in this community, the Waite Park community?
I will look into it. I will bring it up. Claire,
Okay.
thank you for letting me know.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
One of the things I've been concerned about is that 70% of the people, of the population of Waite Park lives in apartment complexes.
It's a big number. I don't know. It's somewhere in that area. Yeah, it's,
So they do not get the information that comes out in the water bills.
that is very true. Yeah, because they don't get a water bill, so they.
Good business?
No longer have the news leader, which at one time would give that information. So I've been looking at what could be, and I haven't come up with anything either.
No, we too at staff level, we wish we had it yet, but.
Anybody else have any other business?
No, I apologize for the shortness of the meeting, but I still think it's good to get together, even if it's for a brief time. Hopefully I'll have more information on some other items, but that I can't divulge yet today, so I will for next meeting. Like I said, I'm really hoping that Ben, the Parks Director for Stearns County, can make it next week or next month, just to see what they're doing, so. We could learn some things from them, maybe, and help benefit us also. So that is all I have.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So
I-
moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.